YouTube, what's up everyone? Welcome back. Hopefully everyone's having an amazing day. Look, turn up your volume. You're going to want to pull over. You're going to want to focus. I've debated here for hours if I should even release a video like this or make this video. But you know what? It has to be done. Because what I'm about to show you doesn't just expose an exchange. It exposes how the entire crypto market is being engineered. Now, this video might piss some of you off, not because of what I'm about to say, but because you're going to see the truth and what is really going on out there. What happened the other night, it wasn't a glitch. It wasn't volatility. It was an operation, an orchestrated cross-exchange liquidation event so precise that it had to be pre-planned. We've seen manipulation before. I've been here 8 years. I've seen it. But not like this. This makes COVID, FTX all look like the little babies. This time, all the fingerprints, they lead back to one exchange. That exchange is Binance. And the money trail, it ends with a handful of whales who made hundreds of millions of dollars while everyone else got wiped clean. And yeah, look, I know the risk of saying this publicly, but silence, it helps them. It doesn't help us, the little guy, the little man in this operation. So screw it. Let's get into it. This whole thing is narrative driven. You see the narrative up here on your screen. They use this to their advantage. This liquidation event has been planned for quite some time. They waited for the right moment to strike and the right moment to execute. The right narrative. And this was it. Trump, China, trade deals, whatever you call it, these tariffs, that does not cause an entire market to get wiped out. We saw altcoins go 99% down to the bottom. This right here, maybe we see a 10% across the board. We don't see 99% corrections. If you weren't watching, and I hope you weren't watching, because it was brutal. It made me sick to my stomach watching the screen and this candle just getting deeper and deeper and redder. XRP, it flash crashed from $2.80 at the time all the way down to $1.20. It even touched 85 cents on some exchanges, and it all happened in under an hour. That hour, it felt like it was going on for days. Bitcoin went from 120 to 102. Ethereum 40%. Solana, AVAX, Chainlink, Ondo, they all got nuked. Sui, 99%. To the downside. In total, folks, $19 billion. Let that number sink in. $19 billion was liquidated from the crypto market in just one day. $19 billion gone. And here's what's even crazier. Prices all rebounded within hours. That's not a real market correction. That is a liquidation harvest. Somebody hit the kill switch. Drain the leverage and let price snap right back. The number of liquidations here was 10 times higher than any previous 24-hour record. This wasn't panic, everyone. This was precision. There you go. You see it on your screen. 19 billion just gone just like that. Everyone who was in a long position got wiped out. My spot holders were perfectly fine. We just had to stomach it, right? But here's the crazy part. In case you didn't know, there was one Bitcoin whale out there. We've tracked it. He closed 90% of his Bitcoin short and fully closed his Ethereum short, making roughly $190, $200 million in profit in a single day. In hours. He made $190 to $200 million in profits. Do you think that's a regular Joe Schmo who's just messing around? No, from the inside. They were told when this was going down. All of this happened publicly on Hyperliquid, completely visible to anyone who's watching the data feeds. But here's the part that's really gonna make your skin crawl. Minutes before the cascade began, this same wallet, he reshorted 9 figures worth of Bitcoin and Ethereum, literally within minutes. Interesting, right? And this went on a public DEX. Imagine what he did quietly on centralized exchanges. Let that sink in. And the same whale has just reshorted, as you can see here, 1,423 Bitcoin. That's roughly 161 million. Now, I don't care what kind of degen you are. No one out there in their right minds, unless they know something, is shorting $161 million in an asset class that has 3.7 trillion allocated into it, where we don't know what's going to go on because let's be honest, it's still the Wild West until the institutions fully get in, and they're not, because they will be taking over this market. He's not done. He is already playing the next move before the market even blinks. You can't make these trades by luck. You can't time them by the minute without information, which means someone, somewhere, they knew the trigger before it happened. Here's where it gets interesting. Good old Binance, locking everyone out again, right before everything started to go down. So even if people wanted to close their shorts to try to minimize the damage, or close their longs, to minimize the damage, they weren't able to, because they were not able to get on the exchange. And folks, this is why I tell you before we get into it, I offer these calls. Get yourself set up with an OTC. Figure out what you're doing in case something like this does happen. The money invested in yourself is well spent. You sitting out there guessing, trying to get into someone's DM inbox on Twitter, hoping that respond, hoping that that person is legitimate, good luck. That is why I stress these calls, and that is why so many people have taken advantage of these calls. You will walk away as one of the most confident people in crypto at the time we are done. 30-minute or 60-minute sessions. Check out the link down below and get your call booked. Now back to good old Binance, everyone's used to be favorite exchange, right? When the first red candle hit, retail traders across Binance reported the same thing. A total freeze. Charts wouldn't load, orders wouldn't submit, positions couldn't even close. Binance responds, well, you see it on the screen. Due to heavy market activity, some users may experience delays, but don't worry, your funds are safe-oo. Were they though? Who were they safe-oo for, Binance? Because those long positions, you guys made a lot of money. This is the same corporate boilerplate that they used every time they pulled a plug. Meanwhile, billions in longs liquidated within minutes. People's life savings wiped out. Binance is the global liquidity engine for nearly every exchange. Coinbase, Bitfinex, BTCC, they all route their market maker network through Binance. So when Binance locks up, you see the chain reaction. Everyone else locks up with it. You're frozen out. Meanwhile, these insiders, they're free to move. Now, let's talk about something here. And let's be crystal clear. Binance has the tools to stop this. Circuit breakers, dynamic margin hikes, liquidity injections. They use them when it benefits them. But when that wipeout or this wipeout happens and it benefits someone else, suddenly those tools, they malfunction. They no longer work. Interesting how this works now, isn't it? You probably never thought about all this, but don't you worry, because Rip's been thinking about it. They could have halted trading the moment volatility spiked. They could have temporarily paused high-risk pairs like XRP and Bitcoin during the flash crash. They could have throttled leverage exposure, raised margin requirements, or injected liquidity from reserves. Instead, what did they do? Well, if you guessed nothing, you guessed right. Because you know what? According to Binance, chaos, it pays better. Every liquidation was profit for someone, and that someone was directly inside the house. We come back to that whale, folks. I want you to think of Binance as a casino that also rates the odds for every other casino. You're not playing against traders. You're playing against the system. When the system goes down, it's not really down. It's just closed to you. The market makers keep trading behind the curtain while your screen says error loading data. That's how whales buy the bottom before you ever seen the price recover. How many of you out there, and put it in my comments, tried to buy XRP at 85 cents, $1, $1.50, but were unable to because the exchanges were down. But as soon as XRP was back up to 220, 225, 250, no problem, you were able to buy it. How many of you successfully bought that dip? I have a feeling no one successfully bought that dip at those lower targets. They didn't fix the market, folks. They controlled the market. And when this dust settles, they walk away with billions. The media blames volatility, and Binance, all they have to say for themselves is thank you for your patience. But zoom out for a second, because the timing of this event, this massive reset, It wasn't random. As we stated in the beginning, they waited for the narrative. This was the narrative that they used. Right after the crash, we saw liquidity spike globally. Trillions in open interest vanished, then rebuilt all of a sudden within hours. Institutional whales, what did they do? They started accumulating again like nothing ever happened. They didn't crash the market. They cleaned the market. We call it a cleanse around here. They flushed retail, they reset all the leverage, and they positioned us for the next phase. Regulations, ETF expansions, and tokenized asset rollouts. Now, Credible Crypto said one of the most bullish things out there and one of the most truest of statements out there. Bottoms are formed by forced selling. Tops are formed by profit taking. This was not the top. No one was able to take profits. People lost their money. People will have to now rebuy and wait for the top to go in and try to make money back. This is what we like to call the Great Reset. This is how you prepare a market for Wall Street entry. You wipe out the noise before the suits actually arrive. The more you dig here, the clearer it gets. This was a synchronized liquidity event, coordinated between centralized and decentralized venues. Binance, Hyperliquid, Whales, API calls, all pulsing in rhythm. It's not a theory, it's a pattern. And the data, it sure doesn't lie. This isn't decentralization, folks. This is theater. A digital illusion designed to make you think you're free while they still own the rails. Interesting, right? I'm telling you right now, if you are serious about protecting your crypto and planning your exits or learning how to structure your holding the ways the whales do, you need to book that call with me. And now we talk about the narrative here. Well, all of a sudden, just a couple of days later, what do we see? JD Vance is out there, and now he's saying Trump is open to have nice talks, nice negotiations with China. And how are we seeing the markets react to this? We are starting to see the markets push back up. Look, I don't think this was just manipulation. I think it was rehearsal. The next liquidation won't just reset the market, it will reset the entire system. They are stress testing the rails before real-world assets, central bank digital currencies, and tokenized debt instruments go live. And once that switch flips, you won't get another chance to position yourself. This wasn't an accident. This was the blueprint. If you're frozen out, you weren't unlucky, folks. You were just targeted. This system is built to trap liquidity and to transfer it upward. Don't let them make you the liquidity again. Learn custody. Hold your own keys. Because when they do this again, and trust me, they will do this again, it won't be a dip to buy. It'll be the final extraction before the new financial order goes live. And now you know. I want you to share this video. Comment your experience down below. Tell me if you were locked out or if you saw something strange coming. The more people who talk about this, the harder it becomes for them to try to bury this. And they are going to try to bury this. I'm looking into wallet addresses, API triggers, everything out there, folks. We're not done with this. We're going deeper, we're getting bigger, we're growing this a lot larger, and the world's gonna know. We're gonna shake the industry here. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, stay alert, and as always, protect your energy, protect your assets, and stay ahead of the narrative. Hit that thumbs up button for me, share this with a loved one, let everyone know, get the word out there. We know what they're doing. Binance manipulating this market 100%. I'll catch all y'all on the next one.